gentlemen, would you please pray silence for the brother of the bride, Mark Madigan.
Hello everybody. Everyone down the back, can you hear me? I suppose the first thing, I suppose I'm only a stand-in, so I'd just like to raise a toast to my father, John Madigan, who's not with us today. So to John. I suppose where do you start? I'll keep it short and sweet. So we met Rob a number of years ago. I think the first time we met him was at maybe Nell's birthday, was it, or one of those? It was a birthday party, anyways. And I must say, like, he fitted in straight away, like it was like he was, geez, he could have been from Shral, like, which, I could picture him up on the ball cutting turf, you know, but I don't know if he's going to buy into that. But I suppose my main aim here, I suppose, is to thank everybody for coming, which some people travelled long distances, some people travelled short distances. Thanks everybody for coming. I suppose welcome Rob back to the Madigan family, and his mother Helen and Nigel and his brother Chris. So welcome me into, I suppose, our tribe now. Tribe's getting a bit bigger. It's not a bad thing, even with Brexit and everything going on. we'll still hold on to you. I suppose the only question I have is we never figured out why he came to Innis. So we never knew, was never told why he came to Innis. So I was often wondering, why did he come to Innis? And I don't think it was to meet Deirdre, to be quite honest. Like, personally, I think being a Harlequin supporter, it was to find another hooker like Keith Wood, who just lived over the road in Killaloe. That's probably the only connection. But apart from all that, I suppose, I'd like to thank the hotel, actually. I thought the food was top notch. Full of bus today to the staff. I suppose from my point of view, I have much more to say, so I'll just again thanks and welcome the family back in and pass on the microphone to the longer speeches.
The next speech is from the father of the groom, Nigel Beale.
Thank you, son. Before I begin, on the formal bits anyway, about a month ago, as some of you will know, we had a stag weekend. But of course, what goes on a stag weekend, or hen weekend for that matter, always stays on that weekend. Rest assured, thanks guys, my physio says I've got about another 6 weeks of treatment. But just in case you thought it was just a weekend away of debauched and drinking activities, just so you know that by 2 a.m. in the morning we had actually discussed such weighty topics as sexual equality in the workplace, didn't we, Rob? Yeah. And the planning and development regulations related to house purchasing. Yeah. As well as the dreaded Brexit topic. However, safe in the knowledge that neither Chris or Rob actually overheard this particular conversation, I'd like to present Craig with a small gift, as he has a particular theory related to soggy biscuits. However, Craig, when it comes to the practical side of this experiment, just wait till tonight, will you?
Okay, yeah.
In the privacy of your own room.
Will do.
There we go. Over to you. Yes. And Craig can explain that one to everybody later on. Okay then, Rob. So, as I've just discovered, there are very few opportunities for a dad to actually embarrass his kids. So, when Rob asked me to speak at his wedding, you can imagine I accepted the offer straight away. I do have to say, however, that I have a bit of a reputation for making people cry. So I've tried to cut out at least some of the mushy stuff anyway. I was given a list of things I'm not allowed to talk about. Sex, religion, Brexit, but you'll be pleased to know I've completely ignored all of that. My biggest problem really has been to know what to say without crashing all over everybody else. So I've tried to keep it simple, a bit like Robert.
Keep it coming.
To start with, like many others here today, I could say that my kids are the best in the world. I could say that they've never given their mum and I a worry in our lives. That they've been the most polite, intelligent, sophisticated, perfect kids a mum and dad could ever want. That we've never had to worry about them coming home drunk. That we've never had to exchange a crossword or an argument. And that we've never ever had to worry about getting a call from hospital to say that they've had an accident. And we've never ever had that call that says, "Dad, can I borrow some money because I'm skint?" But I believe I have to say in telling the truth, so none of that applies. What I do want to say, however, before our families and friends all gathered here today, is how incredibly proud both Helen and I are of the two men that you two have become. When you have children, you have no idea what lies ahead of you. You have dreams and aspirations for them, but no idea how they're going to be achieved. Rob and Chris are both incredibly intelligent, thoughtful and loving young men, and they continue to amaze both their mum and I with all their aspirations and the things that they achieve. They're a good pair of lads, really. What I do want to say about, well, what can I say about Rob? Well, Rob, William, John. You're named after some very special people in our family. And over the years, you've had quite a lot to live up to. You've also had quite a number of nicknames. Some of which, of course, you secretly love. But the one I have to say that we have the greatest pride in calling you right now is Dr. Bob. So what other attributes and characteristics can I describe of you, Sunshine? So I put a few down. Awkward, cantankerous, self-opinionated, difficult to get on with, delusional. These are the attributes I can safely say we haven't passed on to Rob. We. They remain firmly at the behest of your nanny. Family joke there. Robert, even at an early age, as you might spot even now, he was a little impatient. When Helen was 6 months pregnant, Robert decided it was time to enter this world. Fortunately, the doctors actually managed to persuade him to stay around just a little bit longer until Helen required a caesarean because you were desperate to come into the world. When he was 1 year old, I remember being sent out by my wonderful mother-in-law, who can't be with us today, thank God. I was sent out to buy some milk because Robert was a hungry baby. I think after the meal he's just eaten today, I think we can all agree it's something that has continued even to this day. One of the things I can proudly say I passed on to him is my enthusiasm and passion for England rugby. What I may not be quite so proud of is all the swearing and abuse I taught him. Especially when the officials don't quite make the right decision. My apologies, Dee. What I would say, however, is my passion for England and his passion is only matched by yours for Ireland. And after all, my darling wife tells me it's only a game anyway. But what I would say is, don't ever lose your passion for your home country, either of you. It's what makes you who you are. It really does. D, I know you like cuddly toys. So I thought it only appropriate that we should celebrate this union of England and Ireland. And I should present you with this little Prezi, all the way from Twickenham. At least it'll give us something to hit when Ireland lose. Anyway. Robert, as many of you will testify, is a determined young man. And once he's set his mind on achieving something, he invariably gets what he wants. Whether it be passing exam grades, guitar grades, passing everything at A star, getting into Oxford or achieving his PhD, or even finding the woman of his dreams. He might just, however, have met his match at this point, however, because I don't think he now gets all his own way. Turning to D. I'm told that when she was looking for a young man, she had certain criteria. And one of the most important bits of those criteria was she disliked bald men. So, what a wonder. How do you fancy that then? Bit of a change. Muse Brian, anyway. What I will say, however, and would like to do, is officially welcome you as part of the Beale family. Even with a transvestite father-in-law. Anyway, it might sound a bit corny, but it is well meant and well felt. Because as you know, family is one of the most important things to me in my life. So welcome to the family. Really appreciate it. Helen and I are now incredibly lucky to have two very talented and loving daughters-in-law, as well as our three surrogate daughters. You quite obviously love, cherish and support Robert, and that is all, as parents, we could ask for. There are times, I have to be honest, when especially if I don't have my hearing aids turned up, that your soft, delicate tones and Irish twang means that I can't understand a feckin' word you say. However, I think most of the time we get on and we understand each other. Oh, take the wig off, yeah. Oh. I can't. Finally, it's never an easy thing to offer young people advice, and those, especially those who have decided to join their lives in union, in marriage. As each and every marriage has its own unique character. So what I have to say is that marriage is a precious and delicate thing that has to be nurtured and cared for, like nothing else you've ever cared for. And, sorry, and that you're half as lucky as I am, young man, you will have a brilliant life and a brilliant wife. And I'll leave you with a short poem, because you know I wrote a poem for your brother, that I think sums up my approach, or our approach. Love and respect your differences. Don't just hear what your partner has to say, but listen. Talk and share your feelings. Travel life's road together and be prepared to walk in each other's footsteps. Shelter each other from life's storms and bask in the sun. Never be too proud to admit that occasionally, yes, Robert, just occasionally, that you are wrong. Even when you know you aren't. And that true love is judged not by the breaths that we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Son, I will give you a toast. To good friends, love, and a long life. Thank you.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, for the man of the hour, please put your hands together for Robert Beale.
I'm not entirely sure how to follow that, to be honest with you, but I'll give it a go. So thank you to Mark and also to Dad for those kind words. If you could all keep your glasses charged throughout the speech for toast, there'll be quite a few, but you don't need to stand for all of them unless I ask you to. Now, I was given a script for today, but I decided to make what I'm sure is the first in a long line of errors, and I decided to wing it. So here goes. On behalf of my wife and I, we are truly delighted that so many of you could be here with us today to celebrate. We really are so grateful that so many of you have made the effort to be here, especially all of you who made the journey across the Irish Sea. It's great to see so many of you who've come over here for us. I hope you can agree with me that the venue's been brilliant today, and the sun even managed to come out there in the end. We couldn't have asked for a more beautiful setting, and I think Dee's vision for the perfect day has certainly come to fruition. I'd like to say that I had some of the vision, but as some of you have pointed out to me over the past few days, I really didn't have very much to do with it at all. So I'd like to quickly thank Patrick and the rest of the Falls Hotel staff for all the stuff they've done today. Alan over there taking all the photos, Johnny who's been doing the video, and Shirley who did the beautiful flower arrangements and everything. I also need to thank Grace who's sitting over there, who made the brownies. Big hand. Stand up. Right. There she is. That fabulous creation over there in the corner is courtesy of Alan. It's crazy to believe that somebody can hand make something that perfect. It's better than we could ever have imagined. We've got you something just as a small token of our gratitude, but really it won't go anywhere near close to saying how thankful we are. So if everyone raise your glasses to Alan, please. To the bridesmaids, Dimna, Catherine and Nell, thank you for keeping Dee calm today and helping her prepare for a big day, because let's face it, it's all about my wife today. Thank you for getting her to the ceremony. Well, I wrote on time, but it wasn't really on time, was it? Let's talk about making me sweat. I know Dee is really happy that you're all up here with her today. You all look absolutely beautiful. So if everyone can quickly raise their glasses to the bridesmaids. Now, we also had a ring bearer today, MJ, who did a fantastic job. MJ, can you come up here a minute? So, what else is special about today, MJ?
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
And how old are you?
Ish.
So we couldn't let today go past without getting you a little something. So there's a cake over there coming now with a big balloon. That's just for you. So if everyone wants to join me in singing happy birthday to MJ. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear MJ. Happy birthday to you. And we got you a little present too. There you go. Yeah. Another round of applause for MJ. Right. Moving on, to my ushers, to Jack and Ollie, I'd like to say thanks for all your help, but you didn't really do very much. So, it was enough. All you had to do was sit at the front and look smart, but you couldn't really manage that either, could you? So, joking aside, I've been friends with Jack and Ollie for more years than I care to remember, and I can't think of two better mates who would be my ushers today. And thanks very much for helping Chris out with the organisation of the stag. I say thanks, but I guess I have to really. So if everyone could raise a quick glass to my ushers, to Jack and Ollie. So to Chris, my best man. These words do come with a potential retraction notice, depending on how your speech goes after mine. So, do bear that in mind. I guess I should say thanks for not completely ruining me on the stag do in April, and I'm sure there's more on that to come later. Just a word of warning to everyone, Chris does have a penchant for making up wildly inaccurate stories. So if you could just humour him today, that would be really nice for him, I think. Chris gave me the honour of being his best man at his wedding last year, and to be honest, it wasn't really a hard decision for me to ask him to be my best man today. Despite being the archetypal annoying little brother growing up, he has always been there for me when I've needed him, and I couldn't have asked for a better best man, best mate and little brother. Aww. So if everyone can please raise a glass to my brother, to Chris. I think I'm about halfway through now. Phil and the rest of Dee's family, thank you from the bottom of my heart for welcoming me so warmly into your family, right from the first time that I met all of you. Phil, you have raised a fantastically independent, feisty, and downright beautiful daughter who I am now privileged to call my wife. Aww. She's a credit to both you and to John, and today would not have been possible without you. So we have a small gift for you as a token of our appreciation. So if everyone could please raise a glass, please, to Phil. Here you are, Phil. As Mark so eloquently said, Dee's dad, John, unfortunately could not be here with us today to walk her down the aisle. I know that she's so happy that you stepped up to fill his shoes today. So thank you very much for both of us for doing that. Sadly, I never got to meet Dee's dad, John, but I do like to think we would have got on great. I've been told that Dee has a lot of her dad in her, so in my mind, that would make him a really top bloke. So I'd like everyone, please, to raise a glass to remember all absent friends and family that cannot be with us today, and especially Dee's dad, John. Okay. To my parents, who without them this day would never have been possible. More thanks go to you than I can possibly say. They've been so wonderful in welcoming Dee into our family, so much so that she's been like a daughter-in-law to them long before this day came along. Given our slight oddities as a family, it says wonders for Dee's patience that she stuck around for this long. My mum and dad have been married for 36 years, and if we manage to be half as happy as they are 36 years from now, I know that we've done a pretty good job. Life couldn't have given me two more loving, thoughtful and caring parents to have growing up, and they still are to this day. They'll drop anything to help me out and Dee out,
We drove across today, the other day with a car full to the brim with all the stuff that you can see around today. So we've got you some small gifts as a thank you, but they don't really even cover how important you have been to making this day happen. So if everyone can please raise a glass to my mum and dad, to Nigel and Helen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, last but by very means not least, we come to the most important person in the room, to Dee, who I can very happily now say is my wife. I literally cannot contain myself from grinning endlessly every time I say that, which has been quite a lot already today. I was even grinning like the proverbial Cheshire Cat when I was writing this speech the other day. They say that your wedding day is supposed to be the happiest day of your life, and right now I can't think of anything that could possibly make me any happier. To be married to this gorgeous woman for the rest of my life, the excitement is beyond words. I keep pinching myself that she has chosen to spend the rest of her life putting up with me. To be honest, let's face it, we wouldn't wish that on anybody. Since the day we met 5.5 years ago, not a day has gone past when she hasn't failed to make me laugh and smile. I'd like to say the same, but usually she says all she has to do is look at me and she'll laugh. So she's not just my wife, but she's my best friend, and there's no greater feeling than getting to marry your best friend. Some of you in the ceremony earlier would have heard a little bit about how we got engaged. Now, I'd like to say that the moment I asked Dee to marry me was met with a perfect Hollywood response, overcome with excitement and not being able to wait to say yes. But it wasn't quite like that, was it, Dee? No. Most of you will know that I'm not the most outwardly romantic of people, but I am a big softie at heart, so I planned this nice romantic proposal in Rhodes on a beach at sunset. Very nice. Then I did the traditional thing, got down on one knee and presented her with a ring. And what was your response? She's not going to say it. She said, are you joking? That's not a lie. So, not being quite the response I'd expected, and not to be deterred, I followed that up with, no, I'm not joking. Will you marry me? To which she replied, okay then. So that's how we got engaged. It's very anticlimactic. But to be fair to Dee, I think I planned it so well and kept it so hidden that I actually surprised her and for once managed to leave her almost speechless. We've been together for 5 years, 7 months and 5 days, or 2,044 days to be precise. She's seen me at my best and my worst. More of the worst and best, I'd say, probably. Stuck with me through the tough times and the good. Been my best friend and the girl I've always wanted to spend the rest of my life with from the moment we first met. As with any couple, we've been through our fair share of ups and downs and come out the other side still smiling. That includes quite a lot of rather tense England versus Ireland rugby games, which is an interesting experience watching that in our house, I can assure you. And normally we don't invite anybody around to watch them with us. As well as quite a few nights trying to guide a somewhat tipsy Dee home, who doesn't always fare too well on high heels, which I'm sure you might find out later. I've even managed to make it this long resisting getting a dog, because many of you know that Dee is absolutely obsessed with dogs, although I'm not entirely sure how long I can hold out on that one. I know that many more adventures await us for the rest of our lives together, and I can't wait to start them. Just to finish off, they always say that women are the ones that dream of their big day in the white dress, walking up the aisle to meet the man of their dreams. Is there something you'd like to say, Anne? I can give you the mic. But it's a little known fact that we blokes also have dreams. I personally dreamed of finding the right girl who made everything make sense, to settle down, to get married, and spend the rest of our lives together. And today that dream has become a reality. Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined a bride as beautiful as Dee looks today. You actually did completely take my breath away when I saw you at the altar earlier today. And I've never loved you more than I do right now. And that love is only going to grow and grow and grow. So, with that, I would like you to all please stand if you can and raise a glass to the most beautiful, wonderful, and perfect woman, not just in this room, but in the whole world. To my wife, to Dee. I shall now hand over to, somewhat apprehensively, my brother.
Now it's my turn. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Tim. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Chris, Rob's best brother. I use that term deliberately, as there are a lot less people in the running for this title than best man. Disclaimers first. Rob and I met 27 years ago, roughly. And ever since, I have made it my life's mission to annoy Rob and wind him up as much as is humanly possible. Something which is surprisingly easy. So Rob, for whatever happens in the next, is entirely of your own making. Having said that, I do feel somewhat under trial today. As Rob told me this morning, do a good job today and you could be the best man at my next wedding. First things first, just earlier on, some envelopes got handed out. You may now open said envelopes and please enjoy what's inside. You'll notice some common themes from these pictures. Rob loves his food, and he also loves to dress up. Please share them around your tables. Enjoy. So whilst you're all enjoying them, I'd like to once again thank the bridesmaids for their support. I'm sure you'll all agree they look absolutely stunning and are only rightly outshone by the beautiful bride. Dee, you look truly gorgeous today. To all the single men out there, I offer my condolences, as another beauty has officially left the available list. To all the single ladies, I'm sure you'll all agree today's passed without too much of a ripple. Now, before I go on too much, it would be remiss of me not to read out a message that was sent to me yesterday by Jeff and Jenny, Isabel and Xavier, who are our family in Canada, and they unfortunately couldn't make the journey over today. So the message reads, "To the happy couple, we may be many miles away, but know that you are in our hearts and thoughts today as you become husband and wife. We wish we could be with you there today and know that we are sending much love to you all, but especially to Rob and Dee." Now, before I properly get into embarrassing him, because I haven't done that properly yet, I just want to make you all aware of a last-minute condition he gave me last night regarding this speech. Under no circumstances are you to talk about my ex-girlfriends. Now, he is the man of the hour after all, so I will respect his wishes. However, I must apologise to you all, as this has shortened my speech by a good 3 seconds. All right then, Rob, what can I say about you? Yes, we grew up together, thick as thieves, always playing, always fighting. and I was always able to get you in trouble at any given opportunity. And it was obvious from an early age that Rob gained a lion's share of the brains between the two of us. However, with brains and intelligence comes a natural lacking of common sense. A point proven when we went to Pizza Hut once, and the waiter asked Rob, "Do you want your pizza cut into 4 slices or 8? Rob replied, "You best make it 4, I don't think I can manage 8. And another story would be when Rob was utterly convinced that our dad played rugby for England. All because you saw an N Beale on the team sheet on TV, despite the fact that he was actually sat behind you at the time. Mind you, given the state of England's scrum after the minute, he'd actually stand a pretty good chance, Dad, of getting in his team. And it was at this point that I'd hoped for some nice juicy stories from Rob's school days or uni days. However, Jack and Ollie, you've kind of let me down on that front, citing the fact that, Rob, you're actually quite a boring person. However, from the few stories I did get, a common theme is your inability to handle your alcohol. And those of you who know me well would understand the hypocrisy of me commenting too much on this fact. However, Dee, I would like to offer you some advice for when he does end up getting in the state, probably later on tonight. Try your best to avoid spiral staircases. And if he feels the need to try and pull the curtains when drunk, make sure he is closer than at least 10 foot away when he does try to do it. Now, this does lead me nicely on to talk about the stag do. Can I just get everyone that was on the stag do, can you please stand up? Now, at the start of the stag do, you were given some little army men to look after. Can you please now present said army men? If you do have an army man, sit down, please. If we do have the army men, sit down, so I can see who hasn't got one. The 3 of you. Behind Rob, hey. I think we'll meet at the bar later. Have a little forfeit, I think. Please sit down. Now, I do think the least said about that weekend, the better. I think, especially if you're Ollie. But a good weekend of zorbing and drinking was had by all in Bath. Thank you to all who attended, and I know Rob was thrilled you could all be there. Special thanks from me to Jack for organising the majority of it, as I was out the country for 4 months last year. Rob, if you do have any complaints, easy man. There's nothing to do with me.
You signed a form, it's not my problem.
Rob, today you have gained a truly wonderful wife. Someone who is both caring and beautiful, and who I'm sure you will love and cherish for as long as you live. Dee, you've done pretty well too. You've gained a nice dress and some pretty flowers. Now, Dee, yeah, I did speak to your mum earlier today, and I asked her how it feels seeing another one of her baby girls getting married. And she said, and I'm not going to try the accent, said it only seems like yesterday that she was going to bed with her dummy. It's funny how history repeats itself, isn't it? You regretting your choice yet, Rob? A couple of messages before I finish. There will be a photo booth here tonight, somewhere. Please do make use of that. Get as many funny pictures as you can. And about 9:30-ish, subject to change and weather, we're going to be setting off some lanterns. So when called, please can everyone go outside and we can set off some lanterns together. Now, before I do finish, I just want to share a few words of wisdom found from Google for your future lives together, edited from my own personal experience for the last year. Number 1, never go to bed on an argument. Always stay up and argue. The best way to never forget your anniversary is to forget it once.
You never let me forget.
Number 3, always remember these 3 words. You're right, dear. And number 4, this is my favourite one. Can all the couples in the room please turn to each other and stare deeply into each other's eyes? Deeply into each other's eyes. Now, statistically, you're actually staring at the person who is most likely going to murder you. Finally, and most importantly, number 5, always get on with your mother-in-law. And if you can't, make sure you live in another country. So, all that leaves me to say is how truly honoured and proud I am to have been your best man today. What a fantastic day it has been so far, and it is clear from all the smiles and laughter that you two love each other dearly and are destined to spend a long and happy marriage together. I'm sure it will carry on later into the night as well. If I could take a word from a popular Irish drinking song, I'm sure we'll drink and drink and drink and drink and drink and drink some more. Now, Rob, despite my mocking you, you are a true inspiration to me, as every big brother should be, and I'm so proud of everything you have achieved. Dee, welcome to our family. You complement Rob perfectly, and I'm so lucky to now be able to call you my sister-in-law. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, would you please stand? To raise a toast to the new Mr. and Mrs. Veal. May love be in every step you take, every word you speak, and in every breath you make together. To the bride and groom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to move over to the corner and cut the cake.